Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Real Talk. We're on a little bit later tonight, but hope you all enjoyed the football game and games going out throughout the region. But you're joining us at 10:40 p.m. on 92.5 WLSD The Vault, and it's going to be a good show tonight. Before we get into the show, please go to all of our social media. That's the Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, The Other People's Show. And please like and subscribe. Joining me tonight is Jeremiah, and we have another guest, Mr. David Green, making his debut on the radio show. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
And you've not actually got to see the movie, correct?
No, I haven't. I actually haven't seen the movie yet. No, I'm actually just sitting here on my phone, just kind of reading over the synopsis, the plot of the movie.
Right.
Maybe I can chime in a little bit.
But you're a fan of movies and you're a fan of radio, and you had told me earlier tonight that you wanted to kind of get into radio. So what better way than to dive in to Real Talk? So thank you for joining tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And Jeremiah, how have you been, my friend?
Man, I've been making it, I guess.
Yeah?
That's about the best I can say.
Making it through?
Yeah.
So we'll get right in since we're on a little bit late tonight. But if you don't know about this movie, this is a 1996, I guess you could say it's a thriller. And it's about an all-star baseball player that becomes the unhealthy focus of an obsessive salesman. And that's kind of putting it lightly, wouldn't you say, Jeremiah?
Very lightly.
That's
Yeah,
putting it like a
he's,
nice way.
He's a little bit of a psycho.
Yeah. So this has you said at first you didn't realize that you'd seen this, kind of like Mallrats last week, right?
Yeah.
But how far did you get in until you realized?
Maybe 30 minutes.
Okay.
It didn't take as long on this one as it did Mallrats. Soon as our Gil, he was at the beach he had saved dude's kid from drowning, Wesley Snipes' kid from drowning, and he
It's kind of where it was, like kind of where you first remembered, hey, I'd seen this before.
Yeah, that's where I realized I'd seen it before. But he said that
Just going blank.
I'm going blank right now.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can think about it. But this has a very famous director Tony Scott. And there's a Tony Scott and there's a Ridley Scott, and they both make fantastic big blockbuster movies. Tony Scott has directed movies such as Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Revenge, Days of Thunder, The Last Boy Scout, True Romance, Crimson Tide, The Fan, Enemy of the State, Spy Game, Man on Fire, Domino, Deja Vu, The Taking of Pelham 123, and Unstoppable. So his career was a series of blockbuster movies that each almost made more money than the rest. And his only, I told you all wrong. Outside I said his only failure financially was The Fan, but I'm incorrect. Another failure was the 2005 movie Domino, which had Keira Knightley, Mickey Rourke, and it's got somebody else famous in it too. But just because you're a financial failure doesn't mean that you're not a good movie. It just means that the audience might not have been there when it came out at the theater. It could have been overshadowed by many things, which was the case in The Fan. But it's got a great cast as well, and even David outside was noticing. I mean, you've got Robert De Niro, you got Wesley Snipes, Benicio del Toro in one of his earlier roles, John Leguizamo and Ellen Barkin. So you've got a cast of good actors and actresses that can really bring their characters to the screen, and I feel that they do that in this movie. What do you all think? Well, what do you think, Jeremiah? I mean, do you think this cast?
What was that show that John Leguizamo was in. It was actually a movie. Was it Empire or something like that? He.
Let's pull
Oh
up
Lord,
his.
it was a very, very gruesome show.
It was a
Was
show.
Is
Or
it almost
movie.
gang related?
Yes,
yeah, that's the Empire.
The Empire.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I
it's
thought.
like he's got like
Man,
it's like
it-
having a turf war with like
yeah.
Fat Joe and like all these other
Yeah,
gangsters and
Fat
stuff
Joe
like
was
that,
in
yeah.
it. That's right.
Now he's
Fat
been in
Joe
a
caught one through the.
he's been in a
through the
lot
cat,
of things.
yeah.
Like John Leguizamo has been in.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the original Super Mario Brother movie?
Yes, it's actually
Oh,
got.
He's Luigi.
Yeah, it's also got the I can't remember his name off
Wow.
the top of my head. It's got the guy off of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
His
Rabbit
name
as
is
Mario.
Bob Hopkins. Hoskins. Hoskins.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
Hopkins.
yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
It's Bob. It's got
something
Bob.
like
His
that.
name is Bob.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
That's
John
all that
Leguizamo
matters.
has been in a lot of things. He was in Super Mario Brothers,
Hey,
Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, Romeo
Yeah.
and Juliet, The Fan,
I'd
Spawn.
have to say that's probably about the best role I've ever seen him in, man. Like he played. Usually, it's either a very serious role or just a like I'm like in a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Like a
It's
crazy-
yeah, it don't matter. But
Yeah.
dude, this right here, man, he played the perfect role. Like he, at first I liked him, then I didn't like him,
Yeah.
and then I liked him again.
Circled
right
back
at the
around.
end of the movie.
Yeah.
like dude, he played a very, very good part in this movie.
Yeah, I think so too. So a few facts about this movie. Wesley Snipes originally wanted to play Gil Renard, which is the psycho
The
character.
Psycho,
that,
yeah, okay.
Now I was trying to think about that, and if you have Wesley Snipes playing the crazy obsessed fan, who's going to play the ball player? I don't know who you would put as the ball player, and especially 1996. I hadn't really thought about it until just now, but I think that they made the right decision because obviously Robert De Niro couldn't have been the ball player in the
No,
film.
he'd have been too old.
Too old.
Yeah, I mean,
But he did seem like somebody that would be obsessing over, because what else does he have in his life? Nothing.
nothing.
He's
I
been
mean,
fired
that's
from
the
his
whole
job.
point. He did all this crazy stuff, dude. He didn't have anything else to live
No.
for. He said it. I mean,
He was scaring everybody
Yep.
with, when he was trying to get them to sell. He's a knife salesman. He left his son at the ballpark alone because he went off and then came back. So he doesn't have a good relationship.
am I the only one that feels like, the whole movie, he's doing all this crazy stuff, but it's not so bad until he ends up offing somebody, I guess we could say, on
Yeah.
the radio.
Right.
But dude, why was it that this whole movie, it was setting it up like he was going to hit this big sell
Right.
with somebody, like
was
selling his
kinda
knives,
yeah.
and it never happened.
No, I think it was trying to show that there's a longer part of this movie that I've not seen, but there's about 20 minutes of it cut out. I think
Right.
18 to 20, and they were showing a little bit more of Gil's backstory.
Right.
So his father came up with these perfect design knives, but his father wasn't like
Perfect
a business
Edge,
person.
Yeah.
Perfect Edge. And so therefore, what I'm guessing is his father sold the business to someone, and then they kept Gil on as a knife salesman.
Just because he was the heir, kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't have, because at one time the guy
'Cause
says,
when he
you don't have
got
business
fired,
sense.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think that kind of set him into a tailspin.
It
because
did. That's what made him crazy.
Because when he lost his job, what did he have? He couldn't see his son anymore because he tried to remember his wife had got the restraining order.
Yep.
He'd went to the baseball field, caused a scene.
Yep.
Now, what I'm wondering, and this is I've watched a video talking about this movie as well, and I know it's just a movie, but there's 2 instances that Gil should have been arrested, or at least the police called, before he was able to kidnap.
Should have, yeah.
Yeah, because that one where he, after that lady, after he leaves the kid at the baseball game, he barges into the kid's room, locks the door. and then you can hear the family saying, "We're calling the
gonna
police,
call the
calling the
cops,
police."
yeah.
And then after he makes a scene at the Little League practice, wouldn't you think somebody would call a police on that?
I mean, they should have, I guess, but they
Because
never
he had a
did.
baseball bat
Yeah.
threatening people.
Yeah, like I didn't understand that about that movie, dude, because there were so many instances where it would have been like, right now, you would have been in jail for the stuff that he did in
yeah.
prison, maybe.
Yeah.
Even. But, like, they were, there's a restraining order.
And he doesn't.
He's
he breaks
just,
it.
like, breaking it, and they're just like, I'm going to call the cops.
Yeah.
I'm going to call the cops. And
Yeah.
they never do.
And they seem
And
to,
even if they do, well, I'm not too sure it would have did any good.
because I don't even think he. Which I don't like the way that they like his papers were served. Hey
Yeah.
man, your car's being broke into. His car's being broke into.
Yep.
Then he opens the door and he's like, "Take it, take it, take it. You've been served." I think that's a little bit slimy.
It is.
But
it is.
it does happen that way. But nothing in this guy, and I'm not even justifying his actions, but what's he got
No,
to live
not at
for?
all.
And then he spoiler alert, he ends up. So basically, Gil is well, we'll get into this after the facts. So a couple of facts before we get into it is Wesley Snipes, like I said, wanted to play Gil. Another one is Robert De Niro. There's a couple of bobbleheads that are shown throughout the movie.
Yep.
And Robert De Niro wanted one of the Yankee bobbleheads dolls as a souvenir. So the production company paid the collector, because sometimes movies borrow things from collectors.
Just random people, yeah.
Yeah.
Just for stage purposes.
Yeah, and then so, just imagine you're an actor, I'd like to have that. So the production went to this lady, how much would it cost for us to buy this? She says $400. Cost $400. So he got a $400 Yankee bobblehead doll as
Wow.
a souvenir.
Right.
And this was pretty interesting. Cal Ripken Jr. Oh, I printed that twice on there, didn't I?
Hey, that's okay. We need to read that twice. Cal Ripken is the stuff, bro. That is my favorite player ever.
That's what you were saying. But Cal Ripken Jr. was Wesley Snipes' personal batting instructor during the filming.
Best one he could have.
And he was kind of a coordinator on the film as well, as far as like getting a
Yeah.
lot of the realistics of the film going. And I think it looked pretty authentic for a Major League Baseball type movie.
Yeah,
I really do.
That's great. Why didn't they give him a cameo if he did all of that?
I don't
man?
know. They should have. They
Somehow,
should have.
I mean, he was.
Unless he's in there and we just didn't pay attention.
probably
That's a
Coulda
possibility,
happened.
too.
Yeah, that very well could.
And also, if you all think back, this is Wesley Snipes' second baseball movie, as
Yeah,
he played
yeah.
Willie Mays Hayes
Sure
in Major League,
Yep.
which is a funny movie as well. Have you seen that one, David?
See,
Major League?
Let's see which one's that. Is that the one with
Charlie Sheen's the
Sheen?
pic-
You're the
the
one
pitcher.
that showed it to me. Yeah.
see, I think,
Wild Thing. He plays Wild
Thing.
Thing.
It's been years. It's been years.
Me too.
I think I was a kid whenever I last seen that one.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
But no, it was a good one. Growing up, I was always into sports movies like that, and I especially the baseball ones. So
Yeah.
I did. I watched that one a lot growing up.
Did you have a favorite baseball one? Because
Yes, I did. My favorite baseball movie growing up was actually Mr. Baseball.
with Tom
With Tom
Selleck,
Selleck, yeah.
Mr. Baseball. Very cool. You know what? That's a good one. I'm gonna
We
write
got
that
to
down.
do that one, dude.
It is.
For
That's
real.
my all-time favorite. And just, old player gets a little
That-
showed up by new kid.
Does he go to
rookie.
Japan to play?
Yes, he ends up going to Japan to play and ends up meeting another American player that got sent over there.
Okay.
Um,
Because he's not doing as well in the majors, right?
So it's not so much that he wasn't doing well. It's just new meat came
More
in,
money,
was doing
yeah.
better. Showing
Okay.
him up.
Okay.
And just because he's younger and Tom Selleck's character's a little older,
Right.
and so they basically sent him off to Japan for conditioning.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically it just he ends up over there just enjoying it. Falls in love with his manager and everything, and eventually he does make it back because he learns some crazy stuff in Japanese baseball
Right.
that they hadn't heard of, and he just if he does, it ends up he does really well. He retires from the Japanese Baseball League, comes back to America, and I believe it ends on him maybe being like a coordinator.
Okay. I've only seen
Like-
it once, and it was I remember liking it, but it was about a decade ago.
Yeah. Yeah, see, last time I saw it was
I ain't
probably
seen it
about
forever. I forgot
close to a
about that one.
decade, about 8.
That's
7
so
years.
awesome
It's
that
one I'll
you.
never forget. It's just it's such a timely classic. You know,
Yeah.
for a baseball movie.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. So, Mr. Baseball, the reason we came up with the fan tonight is one of the listeners suggested a sports drama from the 2000s, and although this one's not the 2000s, I know that he liked baseball.
Yeah.
So this was one of the first ones I thought of, and
Dude's the best pitcher, man, I've ever seen.
Really?
Like, in Little League,
Oh,
bro,
yeah,
this
I
guy
got
was
to play-
throwing 80 mile an hour
I played
in Little
3 years
League.
in Little League, and my last 2
ridiculous.
years I pitched. I pitched on and off that second year playing, but my third year I was a starter. I broke a record our last game my second year, and actually went back the first game my third year to break that record.
okay,
It was
very
great.
cool.
Great, dude.
We'll definitely have to. We're gonna start doing especially this fall and winter, some Patreon shows. So we'll get into we'll start doing more than one show a week then.
Hey, that'd be great.
We'll do
dude.
we'll
Be
record
great.
several in a row. But throughout the movie, Gil and Bobby, they cross paths and they speak to each other several times throughout on the
Yeah.
phone, but they officially don't meet until 1 hour and 14 minutes into the film.
Right.
So this whole movie pretty much goes on,
Yeah.
where Gil is calling into this radio show, talking about Bobby. Bobby talks to him
Yeah.
on the phone. Gil's at this one point he's in the bar. He talks to Bobby in the bar, just briefly in passing. But it's not until an hour and 15 or 14 minutes into the film where they actually do meet and have
Yep.
a conversation, and it's due to the fact that Bobby's son is drowning in the ocean,
Yeah, I know it.
and Gil happens to be looking through binoculars, spying on Bobby, and just
Yeah.
happens to see his son drowning in the ocean. Goes and saves him.
And that's when he shows his true colors, man. His psycho side.
Yes.
They were hanging out, drinking beer, having a good time, and he wanted to go down to the beach and show him his
Pitching.
Yeah, and then it was I showed you my pitch, and he got a good one off of him that first pitch,
Yeah.
or second pitch, I think. And then he was like, I got to show you my best pitch. I can't show you my best pitch. Not
Yeah.
right now. And then
Then it all just kind of unraveled. And
he
I think
did, and he didn't get his son back that night either.
No, and I think one thing that Bobby said, Bobby Rayburn said, is Gil. So we'll get into that in just a second before, because I know it's getting a little bit late for people. So we have the budget of $55 million. This only made $18.6 million in America.
And
That's
that's
horrible,
rough.
man.
That's
It was
odd.
a flop movie worldwide. I couldn't find the stats worldwide, but Rotten Tomatoes had it at 37. Audience score was actually it was only 37 Rotten Tomatoes, 35% audience score, and a 5.9. So a lot of people originally didn't have an original fond memory, and it was just quite a negative reaction to this movie to begin with. So let's get into the plot and the story. So basically, we've got Gil, Robert De Niro. He's this huge baseball fan. He's kind of obsessed with this player, Bobby Rayburn, who's got traded to the... Who's he get traded to? The Giants?
Yeah.
Is that who he's traded to?
Wait, let's see here.
No, he played for the
Yeah, he
Giants,
played for
and
the
he got
Giants.
traded to the...
I want to say the Yankees because reading off the synopsis here, it says right here Robert De Niro took the Yankees bobblehead doll as a souvenir.
Let's see. But, so yeah.
The Angels.
Okay.
Was it the Angels?
I can't remember. And I'm trying to look really quick. I can't believe I can't remember that.
either. There's too many daggone baseball teams, dude, and I do baseball. I just don't do movies much about them.
Okay, yeah, it's the Giants. It's the Giants,
It
San
is the
Francisco
Giants,
Giants.
okay.
So they've just signed Bobby Rayburn for a $40 million contract with his favorite, to his
Goes
favorite,
on a slump.
and he goes on the slump.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Bobby originally thinks that causes the slump is that he can't get his number which is 11,
Yeah.
which is worn by
Yeah.
Primo, who's played
Primo,
by
yeah.
Benicio del Toro.
I'm not too sure who that is, but he did play a good part.
Yeah, so
Very good part.
and then you learn later on that he won't give up that number, but you learn later on that Primo has the number 11 kind of burned into his arm.
Yeah, he's got it scar branded.
Branded into his arm. So therefore, really, he can't give. He doesn't. I mean, that would be stupid to give up the number when you're branded with that number.
Yeah, and then De Niro ends up
Slicing it
getting
off.
him and slicing it off his arm and putting it in dude's
Freezer.
locker room,
Yeah.
freezer, whatever. Yeah, he left him a note that said, "Look in the freezer."
Yeah. So what leads to that is that the slump is happening for Bobby Rayburn. Primo's doing a lot better. So in Gil's warped mind, if Primo is out of the way, dead, then Bobby can get his number back, get out of the slump, and start making the wins for the Giants.
And
And-
then what's his name? Hold on a minute. Snipes.
Oh, Bobby Rayburn.
Yeah, Rayburn. He's like, well, I just don't really care anymore. He said, I didn't care. I stopped caring.
And that's what set.
And that's what set him off. He was like, "You've got to take my best pitch." Then he was like, "Why don't you care? Why don't you care?" And then
And that's kind of when
that's the
he
last
unzips
thing
that.
that he said.
He unzips
in
that
the-
jacket.
yeah.
Rayburn realizes that Gil actually is
Took
kind of a
his shirt,
weirdo.
yeah.
Because he took his hat and his shirt,
Yep.
his jersey.
Looks good on you.
Yeah. And then kind of after that, Bobby was like, okay, Gil, I'm going to go in for the night, go to bed. Nice
Yeah.
seeing you. He goes back to his house quickly. And then he realizes just a few short minutes later that
Son's
Gil
gone,
has
yeah.
kidnapped his son.
Went and checked the bed.
And another thing that was funny, so that's the basic premise of the movie, and you can kind of guess what happens throughout. But what did you think about these characters?
Some of the best acting I've seen in a long time, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I thought these characters
Very good.
were strong. I think Gil. I think there's like you said, like he starts off. You can tell something's off about him a little bit.
Yeah, not much.
Not much.
Until he loses his kid.
Yeah, and then the kid, then the job, and then the restraining order. It's like one thing after another after another, and then it just escalates. But it's a slow burn, and you can see his mental instability getting worse throughout the movie. And I thought they did a really good job.
the best kind of movies, though, dude? The slow burn ones.
I think so.
It's crazy.
I really do.
How an artist can,
Because
Arthur, whatever.
a lot of
it
people
just-
don't like the slow burn of a movie because it's a slow burn of a movie. But if you
Yeah.
invest the time, and if they do a good job, it's worth it.
You've got to
I
watch
think.
it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can see because if Gil was crazy and psycho at the very first frame of the movie, then what he did at the end, you would be like, well, I expect
Well, of
that
course,
to him.
Yeah.
But you see the progression of how he goes from, slightly off kilter to more troubled to more increasingly troubled, intense down to, kidnapper, psycho. And then you kind of learn also, he keeps on referencing, this was an interesting point. If you notice, he keeps on referencing my old catcher, Coop. And you expect
Oh, yeah.
Coop to be like an actual player that he played with in maybe high school or college.
And he ends up.
He played with him in Little League. He was like, yeah, well, I haven't seen you since we've been 12 or something like that. So that also shows that he had some mental
And he was
problems.
pitching to the kid that he kidnapped. He was pitching to him
Really
he
hard.
Said, you've got to, hit this ball, dude.
Yeah.
And he's thinking he's pitching to a major league player, and he's not. Coop's catching him, so he's, he thinks he's pitching
Yeah.
to a major league batter, and he's not. He almost hits the kid in the head with the first pitch he throws. The next one, and the next one, and the next one. Decent pitches, but Coop keeps telling the kid, "Just hang in there,
Yeah,
you're all right."
Coop knows.
Yep. So then Coop ends up just throwing this pitch, like, you know, after he caught the pitch, he threw it way over dude's head, and he had to go.
So
after
Gil
the
had to
ball.
run after it.
And he was like, "Run, kid!" And then kid jumps up the fence and tries to go over, and Coop ends up taking a fall for him.
Yeah, yeah. But see, that was I remember, which this was only a couple of people were saying, this is the baseball stalker movie, and no, not Field of Dreams, The Fan. But I think it shows. He also mentions when there are Rolling Stone songs playing throughout the movie. There's several. He also mentions
A lot.
like Mick. He was like, yeah, that was Mick. He speaks and uses the word Mick as if he thinks he knows or used to know Mick Jagger. That's the way I came across, which could be another delusion.
I mean,
in his mind.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So let's see what else we got here. Did you have a favorite or least favorite scene? I was trying to think.
Honestly,
I don't really have a
it
least
might
favorite
sound
scene.
bad. I do have a least
Okay.
favorite scene. Probably whenever dude got killed at the end, man. Because I know he's a
The bad
piece
guy.
of work, but dude, honestly, I kind of like the guy. Maybe only because I like him as an actor.
Right.
I don't know, but I kind of felt sorry for his character.
I did
You know
too.
what I mean?
I did too, and that shows that when they made this film, I think they put that in there, so they did a good job because we shouldn't feel bad for this guy, but we do.
No,
because
exactly,
they
dude.
did a good job.
They're tugging on her.
Because this
sliding
guy has
heartstrings,
done
dude. It
nothing
ain't cool.
redeemable, really.
No,
But yet,
at
when
all.
you can see how sad he is as a person and as a character,
He just wants to be with his kids, man.
and play baseball.
Exactly.
Teach his
But
kid baseball, really.
Really? Yeah, because, when he showed up at it, that's another point we missed. When he showed up at his ex-wife, baby mama, whatever you want to call her, when he showed up at the birthday party and everything got all misconstrued and stuff too, then, all he wanted to do was show his son how to hit. And they got mad at him.
Yeah.
Because all he was trying to do was just tell his son, hey, hit like this, don't hit like a,
Because he had these little,
Nancy boy.
yeah, he had these little sayings that he would say about.
Exactly, yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen what made Gil, his life before the start of the movie. Because he's on the phone talking to the radio station when the movie opens, I think. I don't know if I really have a. I do like the fact that one of my favorite scenes, now thinking back, is when he's like, if you want to see your son again, you got to hit a home run, and then they start to throw walk him. They start to throw the ball so he can't hit. Then he charges out.
Rain delayed.
Yeah. So it builds a lot of tension because the rain's starting. Gil's going to kill the kid if he doesn't hit a home run. If the game stops, he's not going to be able to hit a home run. They're also trying to walk him. They're like, that's going to be his last at bat. They've thrown 2 balls. He goes out to the pitcher. Don't walk me. Don't, he cuts them out.
He said, be a man and pitch it to me. Dude hits a ball. The next time when it comes off rain delay, it hits the top of the fence. He gets an in the park home run, and then guess who the umpire is?
Gil. Out.
Exactly.
Out.
Yep. He was like, you're not getting that on me. And,
so I love that whole sequence.
did,
I
though,
think that builds, and that sequence lasts
that
about.
was great.
It's about an 8-minute
that.
sequence. I timed it, and it builds, and I think it builds, and it's it delivers. I really do. What about the music and the score? You can't hear it right now.
Music was awesome.
But I thought it
awesome.
It had
dude.
some 9 Inch Nails in there.
That's about the whole movie. 9 Inch Nails, and we just mentioned them earlier. But dude, there was 3 or 4 9 Inch Nails songs in there. Animal and
Yeah, it had a couple of.
Hold on a minute. It was right before Animal. They played one.
I think they had two different. Let's see if this one's. No, it's not on this particular score that I have, but it is in there, featured several times on there. And I think it does a good job. I really do.
Dude, the music was phenomenal.
It fit, and then another scene like after Gil kills Primo in the I guess the spa room or whatever. The lighting in there is really red. I don't know if you remember that, but it's after he killed him.
Yeah.
It cuts back. The Nine Inch Nails song's playing, and then it's like red, as if like everything turned red in blood. And I thought it was a really cool looking scene. It's only on there for 5 or 6 seconds, but I thought it was good. What about originality? Are there? I don't know many. I've not watched a lot of Stalker, like this kind of obsessive fan type movies. I don't think. Have you, David?
No, nothing really based around sports, anyways.
Yeah, I don't think. There's another movie called. It's got Patton Oswalt, and he's like a fan. But he actually like sees. I think he sees like a sports figure kill someone, and he's like a witness to his favorite player kill someone. I think, but I haven't seen it. But like this movie, I've not seen many celebrity stalker or.
No, I really haven't either. And honestly, I think we could do for another one like this in this day and age, because I mean, like stuff like that is just so real. It literally, it totally happens to our players.
Yeah, and I don't think they make movies much like this much anymore.
No,
not really.
I think people are kind of afraid to, man, because of just anything. I mean, like
they could be afraid of a copycat stalker or something.
Yeah.
You
you never know if you're gonna have. Just somebody get mad at you over saying something just the wrong way or the wrong.
The world has
the
become
wrong
so
tone.
impressionable anymore. It's just hard to know what you can dole out without taking any serious chances on anything these days.
Yeah, like even really with the show, if you say something wrong, there could be a mob of people waiting outside. You never know.
Absolutely.
Like really,
And I want to keep doing the show, man.
So we don't want a mob of people.
No, absolutely not.
We love every people.
We could even be where people start stalking us.
WLSD. We love so many dudes.
True.
You know what I mean, dude?
Bunch of dude lovers in here.
True. So, but yeah. What about the poster? I mean, I don't really care for the posters that I've seen for this movie.
Me either.
It doesn't really give what the movie is.
No, it don't. It don't. It's kind of
bland.
off, really. It doesn't capture the movie at all.
And there's another one
It's
very
just-
similar to the one that I sent you. Or
Yeah,
the one that I
where
posted.
he-
But they're
Wesley
neither one of
Snipes
them
is just doing his,
like a stone face
this.
look.
and De Niro's like,
Yeah. It's not
Like,
that good
dude,
of a
what?
poster, so I don't think the poster was that good. Would you recommend this movie? Yes or no, Jeremiah?
honestly, yeah, I would recommend it if you like an action movie. Watch it.
Right.
You might like it, you might not, but there is some very good acting in it. I have to say that. You've got some of the best actors in the game in this movie. Maybe just for a couple seconds, but great actors.
I think so too. I hadn't watched this movie and I've only seen it once before, and then this was twice, and I liked it better this
Same
time than
here.
last time.
I did too. But I was a kid when I watched
Same.
it last time, so
And when I watched it last time, I thought it was going to be non-stop action instead of like this slow build that we described, and I can
Well,
appreciate it more now.
yeah.
And,
That's,
but I see how creepy and crazy De Niro is now, whereas before I didn't really. He didn't seem as crazy because I was expecting, I guess, more over the top. But now I realize this is more realistic than over the top,
right.
especially over the top that Sylvester Stallone wrestling movie. Have you ever seen that?
Oh man, no, I want to.
Have you heard of it?
Dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, it's
I gotta be honest. I've never
supposed
seen
to
it
be
either.
Really good.
Yeah, I've never seen it. So, David, sorry that you didn't get to watch the movie, but thanks for coming in.
Oh yeah,
Are
absolutely.
you going to stick around for a little bit of the other people's show?
Oh yeah, yes I am.
All right. We'll
What are
be,
we talking about? Whatever.
I don't know. We got some.
Let's just talk about
yeah,
stuff.
we'll come
man.
up with some
Why
stuff.
not?
But yeah, thank you all for tuning in to Real Talk. Please
Love
go
y'all.
to all of our social media pages. That's the Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, The Other People's Show. Jeremiah, David, thank you all for being here.
Yeah,
And
no problem,
thanks
thank
for tuning in to 92.5 WLSD. We will be back in just a moment.